Hey guys, it's Joe, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make an 808 kick in Logic. This is actually quite straightforward, and these are used a lot in rap, trap and hip hop. It's just that really low subby kick that you hear. And it's going to sound something like this. So I'm going to show you how to make it and how to tweak it so it works best for you. And we're going to make this in the ES2 in Logic. So just open that up and make sure it's just our factory default, so we're all starting from the same place. So first thing we want to do is turn these two oscillators off and just make the blend of it up here as well, so we're just getting this first oscillator. We want to change it to a sine wave as well, so just bring this up and then drag this down to -12 semitones. So it will be playing an octave lower than whatever you program in. This just makes it a little bit easier when you're playing something in or actually writing in the MIDI. Next we're going to turn the analog up to about 200 or so, maybe 180. And then we're going to go over here, change the blend all the way over like this, turn the cutoff all the way up, change this to fat, and we can leave that there. Next we're going to do a little bit of routing, so we're just going to turn these two off to make things a bit easier, and we're just going to use these two. So on this first one, we're going to change this to cutoff 2, change the via to off, then make the source envelope 2. Next on this one, we're going to change it to pitch 1, 2, 3, off in the middle, and then again envelope 2 for the source. And just click and drag these green arrows all the way up on both of them. And now we're going to play with the ADSR envelopes at the bottom. So on the first one, we're just going to turn the attack up a little bit, just about 1.6 that was. And then turn the decay up as well, to about 80. Then on envelope 2, this is what's affecting these parameters over here. I'm going to turn the attack all the way down, decay down a little bit, so it's about 60, 65 that was. Sustain all the way down, time's fine where it is. We'll turn the release up just a little bit, about 140, that's quite nice. And then turn the velocity all the way down. And then lastly, on our third one, we're just going to turn the attack up a little bit again, 1.6 is fine. You can turn the decay all the way up, sustain all the way down, again time's fine where it is. And we'll turn the release up to about halfway, to about, put it on 650, and just have the velocity, on 0.6. Then the last bits we want to change just up here. We're going to turn a bit of distortion on, so we're going to put that up to about 5.5 dB, maybe 6 actually, and keep it on soft distortion. We're going to change the tone so it's a little bit brighter, turn that to about 10k. I'll put the sine level about half the way up as well, just to make it a bit more interesting. And that's the basics of how to make the 808 sound. So I'll just demonstrate what it sounds like and pull this along. So it sounds okay, but it's not quite where we want it still. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that you can put on it to get it closer to how you want it to sound. Of course, this is all subjective. If you love how it sounds now, use it. If you hate it, then I'm sorry. But there'll certainly be things that you can do to improve the sound of it. So first of all, it's just a little bit of EQ. We're going to take out a little bit of the low end. We're just going to bring this up to about 30, because the whole point of an 808 is to have that real deep body of the bass in it. But we're not going to have it on 48 dB, we're just going to have it on a 18. So we're going to just take out some of it slightly, because it just gives us a bit more room to breathe in it. Next we're going to make quite a big cut, about 900 Hertz. So we're going to bring this down to about 15. In fact, we'll make it a little bit less, we'll go 13. This is just going to take out some of that popping that can be quite present in it, especially when you play higher end notes on it. If you want some of the higher end to stand out a little bit, you can put a bit of a boost, quite a narrow one, at about 2k, and it helps bring that out a little bit. But I'll demonstrate what it sounds like with and without. So here's what it now sounds like with this basic EQ on it. So it just sounds a bit tidier, and then with the boost. It's only subtle, but it can help it cut through the mix a little bit more. Next is to use a little bit of compression. What compressor you use is entirely up to you. I'm just going to use the Platinum Digital because it's quite straightforward and it gets the job done quite nicely, but the parameters you can use can be quite similar. So I'm going to set the ratio to 4:1. This would be the minimum that I'd recommend for using for it, because they can be quite powerful and overwhelming. I want to keep this quite tame, So I'm going to make that 4:1. I'm going to bring the threshold up just because I know for a fact that this is going right up here, right to the top of my fader. So if we have the threshold quite low, the reduction is going to be huge. We're going to turn auto gain off as well because I don't really like using that. I'm going to change the knee. I'm going to make it a 0.1. I'd recommend either a 0, a hard knee, or a 0.1, just a little bit softer, but it's kind of up to you. For the attack and release, I'm going to make the attack about 5 milliseconds and the release about 150. And I'm also going to put a little bit of soft distortion on there as well. So it now sounds like this. So it's just kind of taming those low ends, those real low end notes a bit more. This is definitely something worth playing around with, and don't just take what I've said at face value. It's certainly worth playing around with the EQ and the compressor a bit more, and even some of the settings in the ES2. You can always introduce another oscillator. I'd recommend putting in another sine wave, playing it an octave higher, so just normal. Change that to 0. So then you have another high end coming in to maybe act as a harmony for the bass line. Certainly worth messing around with the FM here as well. And the sine level. As well as the distortion and the tone, and any of these ADSR parameters as well. Everything is completely up to you. This is just kind of a guideline to get you in the right direction. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment or contact me via my website. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.